Are you aware that 6 extremely large ports have received tens of billions of dollars in Chinese investment, and that these ports are located in several countries? However, they will cause the United States much more concern because, once completed, these 6 major ports may be able to assist China in lifting its economic embargo imposed by the United States, and possibly change the country's historic maritime trade patterns. Are you aware of the countries these 6 ports are accessible by kayak to your port? The Strait of Malacca is critical for China's maritime trade. More than 80 of all energy and commodity imports must pass through the Malacca Strait. However, China would be concerned if the Malacca Strait was used too frequently. After the United States closes the Malacca Strait, China will face a severe economic disaster. China has established positive diplomatic relations with Myanmar and has also assisted Myanmar in developing significant infrastructure. China decided to invest $7.8 billion in 2015 to develop the Keo port in Mai in order to open up energy lines between China and the Indian Ocean. When the Keo port first opened for business, the Myanmar government leased it to China for 99 years. Simultaneously, Chinese firms own 70 of the port shares, with Myanmar firms owning the remaining 30. Moreover, KPA Port is an important entry point for China's international waterways. For the next 10 years, the stealthy bioport in Myanmar will undoubtedly protect the Chinese and Myanmar's economies. The water port is Pakistan's second largest. Qatar Port is located in the southwest. It began as a little fishing village on the Arabian Sea coast. China has decided to help Pakistan construct the Gar port in order to expand the China, pass an economic corridor, and open up new trade routes and coastal ports. In reality, the port cost $248 million to build, with China investing $198 million in Pakistan and $50 million in 2005. The first phase of the Gar port project is currently underway. Singapore Airlines has also made investments in the Gar port. Yet, the proposed port was already in debt because to Singapore's mismanagement of the project's second phase. Eventually, China views control of the entire port as a possibility. Following China's occupation, the port successfully executed the old port's inland economic radiation role. China's voyage to acquire oil has been shorter as the Gar port has moved closer to oil, producing countries like as the Middle East. Even if other countries seek to stifle China's energy trade, yet China is free to choose safer trade routes. The Keo port protects China's commerce in the Indian Ocean. Port of Suez is the third. The Suez Canal has long served as a crucial link between Asia and Europe. Since its inception in 1967, more than 20,000 ships have passed through Suez Canal each year. China and Egypt aggressively maintain friendly relations in order to put China's proposed maritime Silk Route of the 21st century into action. China's merchant ships need the port of Suez for fueling, loading, and unloading. Since Egypt lacks the capacity to expand the port of Suez, China proposed a proposal in 2008 to develop and rent the port of Suez. The usage of the port's development has a considerable economic influence on Egypt, and annual production from China and Egypt's International Commercial Cooperation Zone exceeded 55 million. China increased its investment in the port of Suez in 2014, and the port area grew. Notwithstanding the embargo imposed by Western countries, the port of Hambantota is the fourth. Despite its rising economy, Sri Lanka has long maintained a favorable relationship with China. In 2007, China continued to collaborate with Sri Lanka. China made an official investment in the development of the Hambantota port, in return for the Sri Lankan government's commitment to collaborate with China for the next 99 years. The Hambantota port was Sri Lanka's most ambitious building project at the time. Even the port of Hambantota, which had been under construction for many years, was eventually completed. At first, there were only around 300 ships going each day. Despite this, Chinese firms continue to spend $1.12 billion to purchase 70 of the port and lease the other 30s for 99 years. The port of Hambantota has been in operation for a long time and has grown to become an important transit point for China's marine commerce. Every hour, 10 ships arrive in the port of Hambantota to refill their supplies. This area will act as a transit hub for more than 30 of all bulk shipments, 50 of all containerized cargoes for loading and unloading, and 60 of all oil shipments and routes to China. Pariahs are the sixth most important port. The Chinese government has promised 4.3 billion euros to buy a 67% stake in the Paris port, opening up the market to European firms. The port of Paris has suffered substantial damage as a direct result of the continuing economic crisis. The bulk of the remaining equipment is too old to operate and will have to be scrapped at some point. 4 cranes and 2 cargo ships are the only surviving pieces of equipment that may be utilized. The Chinese port was extensively renovated, and a completely new terminal was erected. What is China's reason for taking this action? Since the port of Paris serves as a crossroads for ships moving between Europe's 3 continents, both in Asia and Africa. Because of its proximity to the Mediterranean Sea through the Suez Canal, China has grown appreciative of this port's strategic position. The Chinese Navy can transship a huge number of containers at this site, and the port of Paris can effectively radiate the whole. The amount of goods passing through the port of Paris in 2022 has increased dramatically. According to data, the port of Paris will soon become the world's 9th ranked international shipping hub. Paris is on track to become the Mediterranean's biggest port in the near future. Djibouti Port is the 6th most significant port. The protection of the army is vitally important to help in the battle against pirates when it comes to securing the safety of any maritime commerce. Operating out of Somalia, China invested $185 million in 2013 to purchase a 23.5% stake in the Djibouti port in 2014. The port's primary responsibility will be to train and supply the Chinese escort. In less than 3 years, China commenced development on the multi-purpose ports of Du and Raje in Djibouti. Doc Healy's flexible port was placed into operation for the first time in May of 2017, after the start of a development phase. The Djibouti port supplied more than half of the supplies for the Chinese convoy moving across Africa. China is now investing heavily in the growth of maritime commerce and the building of infrastructure in other nations. From where we are now, China's import and export commerce will not be restricted to the Straits of Malacca. Foreign ports will also become important sites for connecting new routes. As a consequence, efforts by the West and other countries to limit China's growth are unlikely to succeed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Click here to view a video about another frightening project.